She said it like it was something I should feel proud of, like I was supposed to admire her honesty instead of feeling the ground quietly shift under me. "I think I need to find myself again," she said, not really looking at me but somewhere past my shoulder, like I was already becoming part of her old life instead of her present one. Her name is Sloane Harrington. And in that moment, I realized I didn't really recognize her anymore, even though she was sitting right there in front of me. "My name is Carter Whitfield. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's the kind of place where everything looks calm and put together on the outside, even when things underneath are not as simple. People smile in the grocery store, lawns are trimmed, cars are clean, and you're expected to believe that means everything is fine." We had been together for 3 years. 3 years of routines that slowly turned into a life. Shared weekends, shared friends, shared plans that once felt solid enough to build on. We were not loud or dramatic. We were not the kind of couple that fought in public or broke up and got back together every other week. We were steady. Or at least that is what I believed. So I asked her again, trying to understand what she meant. "What do you mean, find yourself?" She paused for a moment, not because she didn't know the answer, but because she knew exactly how it would land. "I've been feeling disconnected," she said slowly. "From what?" I asked, even though part of me already felt I was not going to like where this was going. She hesitated again, fingers lightly touching the edge of the table. "From who I used to be," she finally said. It was carefully spoken, soft enough to sound reasonable, but vague enough to hide everything it really meant. "And how does that involve a trip?" I asked. She exhaled and finally looked at me, directly this time. "It's just a couple of weeks," she said. "Where?" I asked. "California," she said. "Alone?" I added, even though I already felt the answer before she gave it. Her silence lasted just long enough to confirm it. "No," she said quietly. "With who?" I asked. She looked down for a second, then back up. "With Ethan." That name didn't just land in the conversation, it dropped into it like something heavy breaking through glass. Ethan Calloway, her ex, the one she used to describe as a chapter that didn't work out, the one she said she had moved on from completely, the one she told me not to worry about because it was in the past. I nodded slowly, not because I understood, but because I needed a moment before I reacted. "And you think that's normal?" I asked. "It's not about him," she said quickly, almost too quickly. "It's about me." Of course it was. It always becomes about self-discovery right when something else is about to be justified. "I just need clarity," she continued. "I need to know who I am outside of everything. Outside of everything." That phrase included me, even if she didn't say it directly. I leaned back in my chair. The room suddenly felt smaller, like the air had changed density. Everything looked the same, but it didn't feel the same anymore. "And you couldn't figure that out without him?" I asked. "It's complicated," she said. No, it wasn't. Not really. But I didn't say that out loud. Something in me had already shifted into observation instead of reaction. I was not just hearing her anymore, I was also remembering things. Late replies that didn't make sense at the time. Moments where she seemed far away even when she was physically next to me. Conversations that felt slightly off, like I was always catching up to something I wasn't being fully told. "Why are you telling me now?" I asked. She looked down at her hands again. "Because I didn't want to lie to you." That should have meant something comforting. It should have softened the moment. But it didn't. Because honesty that comes after a decision is already made doesn't feel like honesty. It feels like notification. "I'll leave on Friday," she added. 3 days. That was all the time there was between what we were and whatever we were about to become. I nodded again. This time, it wasn't automatic. "Okay," I said. She looked up, almost surprised. "Okay?" "Yeah," I said. I stood up slowly. I felt strangely calm, even though my thoughts were not calm at all. I hope you find what you're looking for, I added. She stayed seated, watching me like she was expecting something else. Maybe anger. Maybe begging. Maybe confusion that would make her feel more justified in her decision. But I didn't give her any of that. And that seemed to unsettle her more than anything else. Carter, she said quietly. You're not upset? I paused for a second, trying to find the most honest version of the answer I could give. I think I'm just clear, I said. That wasn't fully true. I was feeling a lot of things at once. But clarity was the closest word I had for it. Something had changed inside me. Not loudly. Not in a dramatic break or emotional explosion. It was quieter than that. More like something locking into place. Before we go any further, I want you to think about this for a moment. If someone you trusted told you they needed to find themselves, and that process included going away with the one person they once chose over you, would you wait for them? Or would you accept what that really meant and step away right there? I didn't ask her to stay, and that choice seemed to confuse her more than it hurt her. Over the next 3 days, we lived in the same space like two people sharing a house that was slowly becoming temporary in real time. We were polite in a way that felt almost unfamiliar. We avoided unnecessary words. We avoided anything that could turn into emotion. She packed her things little by little, as if trying not to make the reality too loud. I went to work like normal, came back like normal, and acted like normal still applied. We didn't talk about closure. We didn't talk about what we were supposed to say at the end, because closure would have required honesty from both of us, and neither of us were ready to fully give that anymore. On Thursday night, she stood in the doorway of our bedroom, not fully inside and not fully outside either, like she wasn't sure which side she was supposed to belong to. I don't want this to end us, she said, and her voice carried that careful balance, like every word had been chosen twice before being spoken. It was the same kind of phrasing she had started using lately, always trying to soften the edge of what she was really doing, as if soft words could make hard decisions easier to accept. I remember noticing how she held the strap of her bag a little too tightly, like it was the only steady thing in that moment. I looked at her, really looked at her, not just the version of her I had been seeing every day, but the one standing there in that exact second. And for the first time, I saw something I hadn't clearly noticed before. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't even confusion in the usual sense. It was uncertainty, but not about me. It was about herself, like she was standing in a life she wasn't fully sure she understood anymore. Her eyes kept shifting slightly, not meeting mine for too long, as if holding my gaze might lock her into something she wasn't ready to commit to. This doesn't end us, I said quietly after a moment. My voice didn't rise, it didn't need to. It just shows us what we are. I wasn't saying it to convince her of anything. I was saying it because it already felt true, even if neither of us had said it out loud before now. She frowned slightly, like my words didn't fit the version of the conversation she had prepared in her mind. I don't understand, she said. You will, I said simply. She didn't respond to that, not because she had nothing to say, but because a part of her already understood more than she wanted to admit. I could see it in the way she looked down for a second, then back up again, like she was trying to hold herself together inside a decision that was already forming. Friday morning came faster than expected, the kind of morning that doesn't feel real until you're already in it. The light in the house felt colder than usual, even though nothing about the weather had changed. She stood by the door with her suitcase beside her, waiting. But she wasn't really waiting for a ride or help. She was waiting for something else from me. Maybe permission. Maybe resistance. Maybe a reason to feel like she wasn't the only one responsible for what was about to happen. People often wait for reactions in moments like this, because reactions make decisions feel shared, even when they aren't. I walked up to her slowly. The room felt too quiet, like even the air was paying attention. I opened the door wider, not dramatically, just enough to make the path clear. Then I stepped aside. Take care, Sloan. She hesitated. It was only a second, but it was enough to feel like a long pause in everything that mattered. Her fingers tightened around the handle of the suitcase. I could tell she was looking for something in my face. Maybe a change. Maybe a sign that I would stop her or pull her back. But I didn't. Then she left. And just like that, the silence settled into the space she had been occupying for so long. But it wasn't empty the way people expect silence to feel. It was different. It was clear. Like the noise had been removed, and what remained was just the shape of reality, without distraction. Over the next few days, I didn't call her. I didn't check her social media. I didn't ask anyone about her, not even the mutual friends who would have been willing to share small updates just to keep the connection alive. It wasn't because I stopped caring overnight. It was because caring doesn't always mean reaching. Sometimes it means not interfering with what someone else has chosen to step into. She wasn't confused in the way people like to assume. She had made a decision, even if it was wrapped in uncertainty when she left. And I knew that if I started reacting to it emotionally, I would only be responding to the story she told around her decision, not the decision itself. There's a difference between someone being unsure and someone being unwilling to sit with what they've chosen. I needed to respond to reality, not interpretation. A week passed, then another. Life kept moving in small, ordinary ways. The house adjusted itself to the absence without announcing it. It just became quieter in certain corners, especially in the evenings. On the 15th day, my phone rang. Her name showed on the screen. I stared at it for a moment longer than I needed to. Not out of shock, but out of awareness that some conversations change things permanently, even before they begin. Then I answered. "Hey," she said softly. Her voice sounded different. Not better, not worse. Just changed in a way that made it clear she had been somewhere that didn't leave her the same. "Hey," I replied. "I've been thinking," she said. "I figured," I said. She exhaled slowly through the phone, like she was trying to steady herself before continuing. I made a mistake. There it was. The sentence most people wait for. The one that is supposed to rewind everything, like it carries the power to reset time just by being spoken. I didn't interrupt her. I let her continue. "I thought I needed to go back to understand myself," she said. But all it did was show me what I already had. I didn't respond right away. Not because I didn't hear her, but because I did hear her clearly. And clarity sometimes takes a moment longer to settle than confusion does. "And what do you want now?" I asked. "I want to come home," she said. Home. That word carried more weight than she realized. People use it easily, like it always means the same thing. But home isn't just a place you return to. It's something that holds space for you even when you're gone. And more importantly, it's something that has to still exist for you when you decide to come back. Not everything does. Before I tell you what I said next, there's something worth considering honestly, without emotion getting in the way. If someone leaves you to explore a possibility they weren't ready to let go of, and only returns when that possibility doesn't work out, are they choosing you? Or are they returning because the other option didn't hold? "I'm glad you found clarity," I said. There was a pause on the line. "That's not what I meant," she said quickly. "I know," I replied. Silence followed again. Not the comfortable kind. The kind that removes distractions and leaves only the truth standing in the room between two people. "I don't think I'm your home anymore, Sloan," I said calmly. Her breath caught slightly, like she didn't expect that sentence to arrive in that form. "Carter, you didn't lose me on that trip," I continued. "You lost me when you decided I was something you could step away from just to see if something else still mattered." "That's not fair," she said immediately, almost instinctively. "It's not about fair," I said. "It's about what your choice meant." Another silence followed, heavier this time. Less room left in it for interpretation. "I thought you'd understand," she whispered. "I do understand," I said. That's why I'm not angry. And that was the part she didn't seem ready for. No anger, no argument, no emotional pull trying to reverse the outcome. Just understanding. And finality sitting quietly beside it. I hope you find what you're looking for, I added. But it won't be here. She didn't respond right away. There was nothing left to negotiate between us. No misunderstanding to fix. No version of the truth that needed adjusting so it would hurt less. Okay, she finally said. And that was it. Not a fight, not a dramatic ending. Just a quiet acceptance of what had already taken place long before the words were spoken out loud. Because sometimes the moment someone shows you that you are optional in their life is the moment you finally see that they've already made you optional in yours. And the hardest part is not letting them go. It's realizing they already left in the way that mattered most, long before they ever physically walked away.